Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. I am Joe Sperlin. Ron Cook, believe it or not, is on assignment. I'm not for sure if Keith is with him or not, but tonight we're joined by Doug Lansdowne.
Good evening.
And Tom Mathis.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
So what we're going to talk about in this edition, Mizzou prepares for the Sooners. And I was surprised to hear this. Can they win in Norman for the first time since 1966?
Yep.
Is the college football coaching carousel one decision from picking up a crazy amount of speed? We're waiting for Lane Kiffin probably to make that, to get the dominoes started. The Chiefs are a 500 team, and the mighty Colts are next. And will Shedeur time be prime time? So we're going to find out this weekend. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at firstcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them later in the show. And also tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one-truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. So we ask that you like, rate, and follow our podcast on X, Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, and our website is stlouissportist.com. And a big thank you. This week, we passed the 2,000 follower mark on our Facebook page.
Woohoo!
So it finally happened. We really do appreciate all of you who listen to watch. So been waiting to hit that. That's a big milestone. If you were the 2,000th follower, please contact Ron Cook, and he might have some St. Louis Sportists merchandise to give you. If not, it might be an 8x10 picture of him. I don't know, but there might be something for me. If you were the 2,000th follower, please contact him. So I say that because then Ron will probably edit that out. But anyway, all right, let's start off with our quick hits. Tom, what have you got to start things off?
So St. Louis has always been considered like the soccer capital of the country. They've had a lot of players in the early or in the 50s that played on the World Cup team that won the World Cup, and it's just been a hotbed. Well, kind of returning, city, kind of returning to our roots this year in the college NCAA tournament. SLU is they're playing Kentucky tonight. So they're back in it. And also the Lindenwood Lions, after moving up to D1 a couple years ago, they're playing Kansas City. So they're also in the tournament. So I think it's really cool achievement for both teams. Glad to see it.
Tom, I'm going to ask this now. Lindenwood in soccer, are they still in the Ohio Valley for soccer? Because I know a lot of them.
I would have to look that up.
I mean, I would think they would be too.
I would think so.
Doug, what do you have?
Well, college basketball started, and it's really, I think it's really odd, the contrast of the types of games you see right now. Because last night there was four of the top 11 teams in the country playing each other, but then the night before, when Arkansas and Winthrop, when that turned into WWE, the last 10 seconds, a beam could have fallen from the ceiling and not injured anybody. So I just think it's odd because I watch a ton of college basketball, and they're at some, notable arena and it's just packed. Or even Mizzou, when they played the other night, it looked like there were 600 people there. So it's odd there's such a small crowd for a home game, even though the opponent is not that big.
The Arkansas fans, I saw several of them comment, thank God they didn't hire James Franklin, and he would have walked out and been introduced to 1,500 fans at Bud Walton.
True.
So,
yeah.
Doug,
exactly.
I like this time of year because, like you said, you get those matchups. The tournament in Vegas now, there's 18 teams playing out here. But probably my favorite one is when they play at the Bahamas, the Battle for Atlantis, and they play on a resort, and they actually set up a basketball court in the biggest ballroom they have. So it might be seat 1,000 people, but they're playing basketball in a ballroom.
Yep.
Or they're playing a basketball in a local high school gym in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And all the coaches, I always enjoy the coaches wear the Hawaiian shirts or whatever the native, it's like, it's not the quarter zips. It's like whatever, the Maui Classic was always the Hawaiian shirt. So,
Oh yeah.
The Maui Classic is in danger of being eliminated. So that's pretty sad because it's been a great
I
tournament.
saw that too.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. As we still have a couple weeks of college football as Mizzou just run over Mississippi State. Mississippi State did not seem real interested to play any defense. 300 yards rushing. Now, I will admit, a 72-yard run really helps those stats, but you take those out, I mean, still 230.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yep.
Sure. Doug, what do you think about going in Oklahoma? There's rumors that Bo could be back quarterbacking.
I think it's a long day for Mizzou. And maybe Oklahoma's got the Alabama hangover, but golly, I think Oklahoma's defense is a real deal. And I think they just give Mizzou fits on offense. I think they struggle.
Tom, what do you think the latest drink? Is it a distraction? I mean, I like the fact that Lanning come out and said, "Hey, I'm here at Oregon as long as we're winning." Sark kind of said that, I think, yesterday or today, kind of the same thing, kind of bashed ESPN and everybody for spreading false rumors about him. But what do you think? Is that a distraction for Mizzou?
I don't know. One thing that kind of intrigues me is they just flipped a 4-star safety from Louisville yesterday. So he's still out there working and recruiting. So, maybe he's just trying to get an extension. I'm not sure, but I agree. He hasn't said I'm staying. He hasn't signed an extension. I wish he would say one way or the other, but I guess until everything else clears up, it's kind of hard for him to say that.
Well, I don't think he's a guy that really needs to say I'm going to stay because, I mean, Oregon and Texas, those are pretty two high-profile jobs.
Right.
I don't think you need to come out and say I'm going to stay. If Drink comes out and says he's going to stay and then he goes to Penn State, well, that's even worse.
Right, exactly.
I've got to read. I got a long text from a guy that listens to this. Doug, you're going to know this guy, Mike Mallow, as he proclaimed himself a Mizzou fan and a 15-year season ticket holder.
Yep.
He just feels like if you start acting like Florida, you're going to change coaches every 3 or 4 years, just like Florida has, if you're not happy with what's going on. Mizzou is not Alabama or Ohio State, and if the fans are expecting that, they're going to be really disappointed. And I like what he said here. The disappointment and anger is often fueled by unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
So Mike was really, really good on that because he's been to a lot of other SEC places, and he said, hey, if you want to see some facilities, go down to Texas and Texas A&M. And I always said...
Yeah. Hasn't Mike been to every SEC?
If not, he's been pretty close.
I thought he told me one time he's been to maybe all of them. He's close, yeah.
And it used to be, I'll even say 6-7 years ago, it was, well, we have to improve our facilities. And then it's gotten to where now it's not so much the facilities, it's, hey, we got to pay our players. When you're sitting there saying, hey, we got to have $6 or $8 million to pay our quarterback. Holy cow.
Yep, exactly.
And as we're finding out, sometimes you spend that much money on a quarterback and he's not worth it.
He ain't that good.
Or you pay somebody and then somebody else is going to offer him another $1 million and he transfers.
Right. Exactly.
So
for sure.
I think, I really think as soon as Kiffin, and Ron even mentioned this now, I think as soon as Kiffin makes his call, I think that's going to get things rolling.
Yeah.
They'll still fire some people next week after Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, they'll still fire some dudes. Somebody will take some job, and, it just got rolling. Hey, James Franklin took that job, but James Franklin didn't have a job,
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
I laughed again, Doug. There was still John Gruden at Arkansas.
At Arkansas, I know. They, you want to talk about a whole new level of hate. Oh, those Ole Miss people, they are going to hate Lane Kiffin when he leaves. So, but they, but him saying we love it at Ole Miss, that's the same thing as saying I'm going someplace else.
I think Lane Kiffin, and this is just me. I don't read any of it because it's crazy now what you read, and you don't know what to believe anymore. You don't know what's legit, but I still don't know if Lane is not telling he's going to stay just to keep the LSU Florida people riled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be.
I'd like to hear an Ole Miss recruit come out and say, "Here's what he said to me."
Right. So
Yeah,
I heard a
sure.
report
Hey, 'cause
today.
what do you do?
I heard a report today that if he does leave, that's going to, how the committee looks at Ole Miss for the playoff. They probably wouldn't get a home game. They probably drop him down a few notches. So they'll really be mad at him if he leaves and they don't get a home game for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They'll burn his house down.
They will.
They might.
At Ole Miss.
Yep.
That if he leaves and they don't get a home game, and they're like,
Yep.
well, Kiffin left. You guys were this seed, and we're going to knock you down to this. Hey,
Yep.
you got to play this team now. Oh, by the way, you have to go to Oregon. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
All right, we'll go on to the NFL. The Chiefs found a way to lose in Denver. Boy, hey, right now, if you can't get anybody in Missouri to be happy with Mizzou or the Chiefs, and both of them are kind of winning and had success, and there's people just mad as can be about them. Doug, did you get to catch that last week? The Chiefs game?
Watched every second of that game, and it was hard to watch. But I watched every second of it. But you still thought, I mean, they were right there. You still thought, and I guarantee you, Denver was thinking the whole time until that clock says 0 and we have more points than them. They were worried too. I don't know. They're just not as good as they were.
It's the deal of the Andy Reid coming off a bye week and all that stuff, and now they're letting their special teams are letting them down. This is going on. I mean, it's just one thing after another for the Chiefs, and then they play the Colts. And I looked last year, 10-7 got you in the playoffs in the AFC.
Yep.
So I said all along, after Denver, they wouldn't lose another game. So even if they lose to the Colts or another one, they're still good. Now, last year in the NFC, 10-7 didn't get Seattle in, but 10-7 ought to get you in.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll beat the Colts.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, I think it's and Ron mentioned this last week. I think of Vegas, that they're still the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but that's not really what everybody thinks. That's just the bets they're taking. Everybody, hey, every gal who likes Taylor Swift says, hey, I want to put $10 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, so.
Every wife that likes Travis Kelce's doing the same thing.
Yes, Travis Kelce, that's, yeah. So, Cleveland, hey, how about, and this is going to be one of our picks. Thank goodness, Tom, you're not making this pick. Cleveland at the Raiders. Shedeur gets his chance. The stuff that you're hearing about him is crazy.
It is.
That he's never gotten any reps. The first team has never heard him call plays, never done the signals. that's crazy.
Yeah. That's
So
part of
we're
my
gonna-
that's part of my last call.
Oh, there you go. All right, we'll leave it to that. Hey, Jameis kept the Giants in it. Hey, the Jameis touchdown dance might have been one of the more entertaining things I saw. Hey, and then the interception he threw at the end, he should have got called for a false start
He
because he
should
was
have.
falling back. And then he throws the ball, and I'm like, well, that was your own fault, Jameis. You thought it was on 1 and it was on 2, and you're falling back, and then you're on your back of your heels and throw it short. So I don't know. Hey, the funniest thing, I think, like I said, with Jameis coming out, all these stories, and somebody said when Jameis comes in the huddle and calls a play, it's like his eyes get big and he's like he's telling you a secret. They said they can't help but laugh every time he steps in the huddle. It's like, okay, here's what I got to tell you. Now, Doug,
Perfect.
the Mudhut, Aaron Rodgers practiced today, doesn't know, see how much is going on. Maybe his wife, his unknown wife that no one has ever seen or heard from or have any knowledge of, is taking care of him at home. But
He's going to play.
oh yeah,
He's going to play. It's funny how Pittsburgh's had that giant tight end and nobody could throw him the ball. And Rodgers gets there, and that's his favorite target. That Washington kid, that tight end.
yeah. He's a few biscuits from playing offensive tackle for too long.
There was a story that his agent tried to get him to switch to that. Have you heard that story?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
He
remember
said,
he was at Georgia. Oh, just huge. Good
Yep.
Lord.
Yeah, they said you're going to make 3-4 times as much money if you'll put on a little more weight and pitch to offensive tackle. He's like, nope.
Jason Peters was a tight end at Arkansas. Moved him into, and it was an all-pro tackle. So, hey, we made our comments about our picks. So we're going to hear from our good folks at First Coast Steel Buildings, and when we come back, 5 college games and 5 pro games from Blue Horseshoes Corner. Oh, average. We should just say average. And then when Tom will talk about how it can't get any worse for the Blues, they find a way. So when we come back, we will be doing some 5 picks from Blue Horseshoes Corner. So we'll be back.
At First Coast Steel Buildings, we stand out by combining cutting-edge engineering with a family-first approach to customer service. Every building is custom designed, ensuring a perfect fit for your location and purpose, while our galvanized steel guarantees durability and resilience. Contact Jason and his team at 912-314-4848 or visit their website at firstcoaststeel.com. From fun to practical to industrial, First Coast will provide a custom solution to any building need. From fun projects like a backyard bar or she shed to an industrial storage unit for your business, First Coast has you covered. Visit their website at stcoaststeel.com or give them a call at 912-314-4848. Discounts for military and first responders.
Hey, welcome back. Now it's the time you've all been waiting for. Blue Horseshoes Corner of Picks. Make money, remember, December 1st. It's all legal in Missouri. I'm sure you're getting bombarded with the radio and TV, emails, texts, probably the flyers to the residents there. So, but remember, these are for recreational and entertainment purposes only. Don't use this for any actual wagers, and for God's sakes, don't put money on these picks we're giving you. If you believe you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Go opposite. Yep.
Well,
180.
As the term is, fade everything we say. So, all right, our first game, we'll go with the games we kind of already talked about. Mizzou at Oklahoma. Oklahoma minus 7.5. The last win in Norman for Mizzou was 1966. Okay. Now, you guys will know who the Mizzou coach was in 1966. Tom?
Dan Devine.
Dan Devine.
Dan Devine.
Do you know who the OU coach was in 1966?
Was it still Bud
It had to be
Wilkinson?
Bud Wilkinson.
Bud Wilkinson was out in 64.
Oh.
Then there was another guy come in, and I can't remember. Then this guy by the name of Jim McKenzie went 6-4 at Oklahoma.
Wow.
He was there 1 year. Okay. They beat Texas that year, and it was the first time they'd beat Texas in like 9 years, I think it said. So I thought, well, how's this guy there only 1 year? Because then after that, Chuck Fairbanks, who was an assistant, took the OU job. Jim McKenzie, in the spring after his first year, died of a heart attack at age of 37.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
So that was the last time Mizzou won in Norman, was 1966. But when I looked up, I thought, was Wilkinson still the coach there? And then I saw that guy and I went, I've never heard of him. So a little searching, and there you go. So, folks, that's why
awesome.
you listen to the Sportists right there.
Right there.
That's right.
For information
That's right.
that you can amaze your friends when you're watching that game. So, all right, Tom, last time. Hey, now, will Mizzou pull the magic of scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 63 seconds like they did last year to beat them? What do you think? Oklahoma minus 7.5.
Yeah. So I was born in 1965, so I've lived all of those losses since 1966 with this team. So I can remember going down there and I thought, oh, Mizzou's got a pretty good team, and Oklahoma rolls out with a 70-0 win. So I've felt those losses, and for that reason, I'm gonna pick Oklahoma. I just think that the Tigers, they just never have been able to play very well there, and so I don't think they'll score 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go Oklahoma.
Doug, you kind of already mentioned this. Anything else to add on yours?
No, I think everybody at the beginning of the year looked at this part of the schedule before Oklahoma was playing Mizzou, and they said, oh, by that time Oklahoma's going to be 4-4 or 5-3 or whatever, and they're that win last week. I think they win and cover. I mean, I got the Mizzou shirt on right here, but
hey,
I think they win and
sit
cover.
There and think OU might be down a little bit. But it's kind of like I said the same thing about Mississippi State. But when you can run the ball, you don't have to be, that's the easy thing to do, of just running over the top of somebody. And then defensively, just stopping people. So I'm kind of with you guys. I really thought this game, and Tom, we even said it opened at 10 and then it was bet down. But I think OU will win about between 7 and 10.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I agree.
And then we've got the other 7-3 team in Missouri, the Missouri State Bears at Kennesaw. Another little bit of trivia. Kennesaw. Does anybody know where Kennesaw is? What state Kennesaw's in?
Georgia.
Georgia is in Kennesaw, Georgia. First time Missouri State's been to Kennesaw. Hey, Missouri State has won 4 of their road games. The only one they lost was some team they opened the season with, like USC. I don't know how USC is doing. Hey, I'm going to say this. I'll start off with this. I'm going to take the 6.5 because hopefully Missouri State's going to treat this like their bowl game in case they don't make it. Kennesaw's got a chance to play for the conference championship. So I'm going to take the Bears plus the 6.5 for their bowl game. Tom, what do you think?
I think going to Kennesaw is going to be pretty rough for them. I just think it's going to be a challenge, and I'm going to take Kennesaw State and the points and to win.
Hey, Kennesaw was a team that last year was not very good. Hey, amazing what the portal does. I think they were like 2-10 last year, but hey, portal does amazing things, Doug.
I want the Bears and the points, and I think Kennesaw State wins, but the Bears, give me the Bears and the points. I think they win late in the game.
Hey, there's going to be a lot of Missouri State fans watching these Sun Belt teams and MAC teams that are 5-5 this week, cheering against them to lose. So there's a chance, and so there you go. Speaking of that USC team, they are going to Oregon. Oregon minus 10.5. This was amazing to me when I saw this. Oregon it's the second trip in the past 10 years USC has made to Oregon. Wow. And the first time they've ever played as Big Ten opponents. Oregon minus 10.5, Tom.
I think Oregon will win by 20. Dan Lanning, he's going to try to make a statement this week. And this is his last opportunity to make a statement, I think, before the end of the season.
What do you think, Doug?
I think Oregon wins, but I don't think they cover.
Okay. I think it's the Oregon run game that'll give USC some problems, and they'll punch one in late to get the cover. Oregon will at home. And then the next, we've got the Burt Bowl. Illinois at Wisconsin. Illinois is a 7.5-point favorite in the Burt Bowl. Tom, what do you think?
I'll take Illinois. I think that Burt's he's gonna want to go up to home and show him how good his team is. And Wisconsin's kind of had a rough year, so I don't think that they'll be able to do anything with them.
Doug, what do you think?
I agree with Tom. I think Burt goes up there and shows what he is, but it shows parts of his body. But anyway, they win and cover.
And expect Burt to do something to really irritate the Wisconsin fans.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. He'll do something.
You think?
Okay. Now, this last game is amazing to me. Arkansas, who is 2-8, has lost 8 games in a row. Now, I will say, since Bobby's taken over, they've been close under single digits in every game. They are getting 10.5 points at Texas. So wait a second. You're going to compare Arkansas and USC the same?
Yeah.
I do not get that. But anyway, hey, Texas is 13-1 at home. And I'm going to say this. Bobby finds a way to cover because Texas has Texas A&M next. Bobby will punch one in late to get to as they say, the backdoor cover band.
Yep.
Give me Bobby and the backdoor cover band. Tom, what do you think?
I'll agree with that. You kind of swayed my opinion. I think they'll score late and get it within the cover, but Texas is going to win.
Okay. Doug?
I completely agree. I think Bobby keeps it close. He still thinks he should be the head coach. Part of those players think he should be the head coach. He'll waller around and find a way to take the points and cover.
Okay, let me give you my Arkansas theory, what I think they should do. Okay? I think they should hire Bobby, give him a 4-year contract, and say, we're going to pay you $4 or $5 million a year. If you want to be the head coach, this is what we're going to pay. If you win, we'll incentive performance. Ryan Beard comes down, is on the staff. Bobby does it for 4 years, and in 4 years, Ryan Beard's the head coach at Arkansas.
Wow.
And if they don't like Bobby, they fire Bobby, and it doesn't cost them near as much money.
Right. Would Beard do that?
I don't think they're going to make him the head coach because they've had 2 different buys. They could have named it during a bye.
Yeah.
And I think they waited and think, okay, if he gets a win, we're going to do it. And he didn't do it. And they waited through the buys. And now everybody just looks at it and they're like, well, hell, he's lost 6 straight or whatever. I don't think they're going to hire him.
No, I don't think they will either, but hey,
Who else
they've
are they
been
going to get?
competitive. Huh?
They have been. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I know why they're waiting to, if this dude from Memphis, it's a done deal or whoever. Oh, speaking of, before we get out of college, did you see where that guy from Tulane, who they would be in the playoffs, saying we're in the top 25? He said, well, that just goes to show you there's not very many good teams out there because we're just average.
He did.
Boy, way to talk your team up and try to get you a job.
Yeah, that's not the right way to go around about that.
Way to get them fired up. So, all right, Tom, get ready for your Blues analysis when we come back from the NFL.
I'll be ready.
All right, Doug, you ready for this? Hey, we'll go with the first one. You kind of talked about it. The Indianapolis at the Chiefs. Chiefs, a home favorite, -3.5.
Chiefs win and cover.
I'm with you. Chiefs do. I think they get it done. It's just, like I said, it's kind of the script deal. I said this to the Chief fans down here. I said, I don't think they'll lose another game. So, Minnesota, who's fighting for a playoff spot, at Green Bay, -6.
Green Bay wins and covers because J.J. McCarthy is throwing it to the wrong team.
And he is, oh no, that was Sam Dark. He's seeing the Minnesota Ghost like Donald did, seeing Ghost. That's not good. All right, then the next one, hey, it's Mudhut. We can't go without the Mudhut. The Mudhut at Chicago. Now, I've got to say this. Aaron Rodgers in his lifetime, 24-5 versus the Bears.
I was going to say he's never lost.
No. Hey, and he said, now that I'm gone from Green Bay, I just like that to be over with and let's forget about it. And until he wins, and then he'll say, hey, nothing's changed. What do you think, Doug?
What's the line on it?
Chicago -2.5.
Oh, I'll take Pittsburgh. I'll take Pittsburgh in the points.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to take. Hey, the Bears are 7-3. They're
Fool's
like
gold.
one game. Yeah.
Fool's gold.
Yeah. Hey, and then we had to put this one on. Somebody talked about it. Hey, look this up on Vegas and see what they're selling tickets to this game for. Cleveland at Las Vegas -4. They may be giving them away. Free parking, and here's here's some tickets.
When you get validated parking, you get a voucher for the buffet. What's this? Oh, it's a ticket to the Raiders game.
It's tickets to the Raiders game. Hey, if you lost money, then the last thing we're going to do is let you go to the Raiders game. You don't need any more punishment. I normally don't like betting on the team that on Monday night, but I think this Shedeur Sanders deal is going to be a nightmare. Is going to be horrible. I'm taking the Raiders.
Me too.
And then our last one, Philadelphia -3.5. I love it. Every time Dallas plays halfway decent, they kind of say, here we go. We're ready to go. So they're talking playoffs of Dallas. I'm surprised this is 3.5, but once again, it's the public. I'm going with the Eagles.
I think after the way the Eagles looked the other night and now they're bad-mouthing Jalen Hurts, I think the Eagles rolled them.
Hey, I'm not for sure if the Eagles, A.J. Brown's mad, this guy's mad, everybody's mad.
Everybody's mad.
Hey, speaking of people being mad, Tom, let's talk about the Blues.
Oh,
All
boy.
Right. The Blues have lost 3 in a row. Now, I'm gonna say this, Tom. Yeah, about a quarter of the NHL season is over. About 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're 6-9-5. They're in 7th place. Now, as I like to say, even in baseball, to me, this is kind of a big deal because goal differential, I always like this. For you to win games in baseball, football, hockey, basketball, you need to score more than the other team. Right?
Yep.
I mean, I think that, you can have all these other stats, but I need to score more than the other team.
Yep.
And the
For sure.
Blues are minus 23. They are the last in the NHL.
So
Ron
sad.
and this money puck already, a quarter of the season's got them odds at 3.8%. Justin Falk said Saturday's game they played like they were on, quote, cruise control. Tom, what do you think about all that?
The big thing you're talking about, the 25% of the season's already been gone. They have 17 points at this point in the season. 4 of those points have come against the worst team in the league. So that makes their point total even more unbelievable. This team is just underachieved to no end, in my opinion. And I don't know. I'd give them maybe to the first of the year. And if they don't start turning around, start trading off some of these older guys. And I'm not talking about Thomas or Kyrou. I'm looking at Shen and Falk. And I don't think you ever get anything for Buchnevich, but maybe him. I mean, Buch got knocked down to the third line today from the first line. So at some point, they just got to start doing something because what they're doing now isn't working. They did get Jake Neighbors back tonight. He's playing for the first time in like 4 or 5 weeks. So he's made a little bit of an impact. And, I think Jake should get the captain. If they trade Shen, make Jake the captain at some point.
Tom, what point do you say, all right, this season, let's go towards next year? Ron made the comment said at the Olympics, before the Olympics, during the Olympics.
I go earlier than that. I mean, yeah, I give it to like the first of the year. You're going to get a little bit better return, trading guys who have more of a season to play on their other team. And so, you're not going to go anywhere. I mean, this team does have a history of kind of after the January, they turn things around, but I don't think this team can.
Just like they did last year. So,
right, exactly. And even the Stanley Cup year, they kind of did the same thing.
Well, Doug, if things get bad with the Blues, there's always, by that time, the college basketball conference schedule will start. So, thoughts about Mizzou? What's been going on up to Columbia?
They are more athletic than I thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They, last year they shot it really, really well. They scored in bunches. Other than Mitchell and Gray, they didn't have much of a physical presence. But, of course, they still got 2 guys that are out, too, with Boateng and Pierce. But they're a lot more athletic than I thought they were going to be. So I think they're going to compete at a higher level than I thought they would. So, I mean, the SEC is a gauntlet, but I could see them being about 5th or 6th if things fall right. So, because that's what surprised me the most was their athleticism.
I think, they were calling for the UConn, Arizona, Illinois, Bama little games that were played like a potential Final Four preview. Tom, did you get to watch any of those college games the past couple days?
I didn't see much of those. I saw a little bit of the Illinois-Alabama game. And all those teams are talented. They're fun. But, I think Mizzou's fun to watch, too. They're a lot of fun.
The Major League Baseball, the new TV deal, finally got it done. NBC for Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN hanging around Netflix. Pretty good deal. I have not read up on a lot of it, but it's a good deal. I remember as a kid watching Monday Night Baseball. And, I mean, that was the only baseball during the week that you got to watch. And I think it's the same thing. If they get it like Sunday Night Football, it would be, people would still watch it.
I'm surprised how big a player NBC has come all of a sudden. I don't know what made them turn and, going to get on the sports like they have, but, they're all, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, I mean, they are all in on the NBA stuff, and now they're jumping in on baseball, and of course, they got the Sunday night stuff with football, and so, yeah, I'm sure baseball, Ron's favorite guy, Manfred, I'm sure baseball's tickled because I don't think they thought that it would work out as well as it has for them.
Well, I think when the Major League Baseball or the network, they worry about people watching baseball. Tom,
Yeah.
Tom, do you agree with that?
I definitely agree. I mean, baseball is not as popular as it used to be. You know, you don't have as many eyes on it, and that brings down the numbers for them. A couple things with NBC is they just relaunched the NBC Sports Network.
Well, they did.
They did that last week. I know was YouTube has it, and so they just relaunched that, so it's getting ready to come back out. So they're going to have that to fill some sports stuff with. The other thing is ESPN. They bought MLB TV, so that was part of the deal. And that, to me, that's a huge. I mean, MLB had to make a ton of money off of that. And they just had to.
Well, hey, like you said, I don't know as a fan. I'm going to watch my team, but if it comes down to watching baseball every single night, like you can on ESPN and everything else, I don't know. Most fans are going to do that, but I think you're just your regular person that's going to sit there in the summer and go, "Hey, there's baseball on NBC on Monday night. Yeah, I'm going to watch it."
Right.
Because you know it's going to be one of the better teams. So
Right.
yeah.
It's a lot different than when we were kids growing up and you had Saturday afternoon baseball game of the week or a Monday night game of the week. And that was pretty much it. You know, you didn't have every single game wasn't on TV every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that changes everything.
Hey, and then if you were lucky enough to go watch in the city with the kids that had cable, you had to watch the Braves and the Cubs in the 80s, in the early 80s, and you didn't want to do that.
No.
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 But the black eye on baseball, this wagering, this pitcher from the Indians said he checked with people on his phone during the game to coordinate his actions with his bet, but pleaded not guilty.
He showed he's not very smart already.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how smart this guy is, because what we say, he was doing it for $5,000 to $10,000, and he had a $20 million contract.
Exactly.
So, I don't know that guy, and you know, the changes they're going to make about the prop bets probably needs to be done to avoid that. So,
Yeah, it does.
our Cardinal update here: the Royals, the Indians, the Yankees, the Astros are all in on Donovan. Huh?
Yep.
It's not going to be a popular trade. I don't want to see him do it, but it's probably the right thing to do. They're going to go into this, continue this rebuild. He's got 2 years of control left. So by the time they get good, he's going to be a free agent. So it's probably the right thing to do. The thing I want to caution people on, they're not going to go and get 4 or 5 prospects for Brendan Donovan. There was a trade this week where Baltimore traded one of their starters, Grayson Rodriguez, to Los Angeles Angels for Taylor Ward. It's going to be something like that kind of deal, where you're getting a huge upside, but a gamble health-wise. So it's not going to be, a 4-for-1. It's going to be, maybe 1 or 2 prospects with maybe some health issues or something.
Well, and the better he got, the Cardinals probably weren't going to be able to afford him next time anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Well, that brings us to our last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC. It's here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Dave has 37 years, 4 million plus miles of experience with flatbed, step deck, over-dimension, dry vans, and refrigerated units. Grew the last fleet managed from 1 truck to 5 with a yearly gross revenue of $3.7 million. If this is the growth you're looking for, contact Dave Reinhardt at 417-217-9622 or oldblackdog0523 at Gmail. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Tom, your last call for this evening.
So my last call is about KMOX radio. Today they've been celebrating 100 years of being on the air. Their anniversary is really December 4th, but they're celebrating today on 11/20 for 11/20 a.m. So KMOX, for people who grew up in the area, it was a big thing. I can remember growing up when the radio would be on KMOX from the morning when the news was on all the way through the afternoon. Jack Carney, Jack Buck, whoever was on there, and then Sports Open Line with Bob Burns and Bob Ray. That was the first sports show on the radio in the country. And those guys, I mean, they were major players in the St. Louis, in the baseball market, in the sports market. And then at the end of the night, it was Jim White, the Big Bopper. So, KMX was a dear place in my heart. And I think losing some of the people they've lost really has hurt not only KMX, but the city of St. Louis.
100 years. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Doug?
Speaking of that game in Vegas, that football game, since 1999, when Shedeur takes the field, he will be the 42nd starting quarterback. That's 12 more than anybody else in the league during that span. And it's almost double the amount of kickers that Cleveland's had in that span. So
wow.
They've had 26 kickers in that span and 42 starting quarterbacks. It's just amazing that one franchise can be that inept at figuring out the most important position in professional sports.
Exactly. Have you ever seen the guy that has all the names on the back of the jersey that he wears to the home games?
That he wears to the home games, yes.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Unbelievable.
Well, my last call is I would like to go back to, like I said, 2,000 Facebook followers. Hopefully with Ron not being here, we won't lose 1,900 of them. But I do want to say, and this cannot, I will have to tell him this cannot be edited, but I want to say thank you to Ron Cook for getting all of this started.
Mm-hmm.
We jokingly said it was me and him started this over the years, and Doug, from all these times of talking about this on random phone calls, emails, and texts, but halftime of the LSU games, we would kind of have a mini Sportist conversation on there. But Ron has done all of this, the writer, the director, the producer, the editor, the marketer, the sales. I mean, he's done all of this. So it's been about a year. So I want to say once again, Ron, we miss you being on assignment, but thanks for doing all this. So we appreciate it. And we also want to say thanks to all of you listening to the podcast of the St. Louis Sportists. We're going to put out an early one next week for you to listen during Thanksgiving dinner, if you want. If you get everyone else, remember to tell 2 people. So listen to that in between games or while you're at dinner or as you're driving to someone's house. So,
yeah.
Tom, thank you. We had a little problems with some connection, but I think we got it worked out. Doug,
right.
Thank you. And once again, thank you to everyone listening, and have a nice night.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.